All right, what is going on, my people? My people, thank you for being here. What are we? In September? The hell just happened? Thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys being here. I got a topic that I want to get started for everybody. I want to give everyone a little bit of a plan, what I'm going to be doing in the month of September. And then before you know it, we're going to be into media day training camp, and we'll be, obviously grinding away as far as content goes. Thank you for being here. Hopefully everybody had a great Labor Day weekend and a good couple of weeks. Obviously, I took a couple of weeks off the channel. Let me give everyone just a quick game plan for September. I will not be doing, live shows 5 days a week or 3 days a week or anything like that, but I'm probably going to be doing content like this, where I find a topic that I think is interesting, a topic that I think is relevant, something that I feel like you guys want to have your thoughts and an opinion on. And if I could find some topics, already saw a couple today. This one I'm going to do is going to be specifically, obviously, on Austin Reaves, but I already saw some kind of other topics that I was thinking about and brainstorming. So expect 2 or 3 of these a week in the month of September. Maybe occasionally here and there, I'll do a live show. I'll just kind of wait on that. Not 100% sure what my plan is there, but I'm still going to be putting up content in September. Just not going to be doing my traditional live shows that I have been doing. Now, when we get to training camp and media day, we get to October 1st or whatever that, date is. I don't know the exact date yet when media day will start. I'm back 5 days a week. We'll be doing everything, post games for the Lakers, the whole thing. So that's going to be happening. Any interviews that I think are interesting or anything like that, I'll probably just record those as well and throw this up as content. So thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys being a part of the channel. Miss you guys, and let's get things started here for the month of September. Okay, I do have a topic I do want to get into, so let's start off with that. I was doing some research, and I saw a few different things around Austin Reaves. I'm like, all right, let's have a little bit of an Austin Reaves conversation. Trade chatter about Austin Reaves. You know what's crazy about this? And I think I'm going to have 2 mock trades on here, by the way. These are coming from some other articles that were out there. Bleacher Report had something. Sports Illustrated has something. And I'll just lob those to you guys, and we can have that conversation together. What's interesting to me is, damn, this Austin Reaves chatter. It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be here for a little bit. If you guys just remember when Lakers traded for Luka, there was some conversation. Even then, it was like, hey, are we sure Austin Reaves, Luka Doncic, are we sure that's the backcourt that you want? And I feel like there's a lot of voices out there saying, no, that's not the backcourt that the Lakers should have or want or whatever the case is. And then the Lakers get eliminated in the playoffs against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Austin Reaves obviously did not have himself a good playoff series. And now all the chatter started again. You got to get rid of this guy. No, he's got to go. Austin Reaves and Luka Doncic, that ain't going to work. We got into the summer. It was one of the first big topics was about Austin Reaves. Got into free agency. Then LeBron took a lot of the topics, I thought, for a while there. And then you added DeAndre and you added Marcus Smart. Okay, some of the buyouts Lakers got, or some of the players that they got, or players that they acquired in free agency. That took a lot of the conversation. But here we are. I feel like turning right back over to Austin Reaves, and I don't think this is going to be going away for a while. All right, why do fans want Austin Reaves traded? I could list it out for you. I feel like I have a pretty good pulse when it comes to this. Why do they want Austin Reaves gone from the Lakers? Probably one of the main reasons I would say is the fit with Luka. I think there is some fear that that just can't be your backcourt of a real championship contender. And I think some of the reasons why I think is fair. I understand where somebody's coming from. I've said this before. I want to have a starting lineup that does have somewhat of a focus from an offensive or from a defensive perspective. And that backcourt doesn't have that balance that I think you need offensively and defensively. Okay, that's one of the reasons. We all already know these, but I'm going to get into that. And then I'm going to get into the 2 mock trades that I'm referring to. Another reason why some fans out there, or a good portion of fans, say, nope, Reaves ain't going to work on the Lakers. They're looking at his playoff performance. They're looking at what he did in the playoffs, and they're saying against Minnesota, a lot of the guys from the Timberwolves, Jaden McDaniels, and, go down the list of some of these other guys, they were feasting on Austin Reaves, and it's not a lack of effort, but Austin Reaves there's a bad playoff performance from him. Defensively, offensively, we gave D'Angelo Russell a lot of you-know-what when he didn't perform. And I think that, that shifted all towards Austin Reaves since D'Angelo Russell's been gone. Now, I was still a fan that the Lakers traded I'd rather have Dorian Finney-Smith for a playoff run than D'Angelo Russell. You look at it now, I mean, you also don't have DFS. DFS is now in Houston. But to stay on the Austin Reaves topic for a quick second, the fit with Luka, people aren't crazy about. The playoff performance against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and then the fact that he's an unrestricted free agent by the end of this season, which means he's got a payday coming. Whatever that number is, I don't know what it is. But there is concern that you're going to have to put $30 million, $35 million a year next to what you're already paying Luka. Now you got 80 plus million coming from your backcourt that can't play defense. So legitimate concerns with Austin Reaves and his fit with the Lakers. The case to keep Austin Reaves, and then I'm going to get into the two mock trades I mentioned, one from Sports Illustrated and one from Bleacher Report. Case to keep him. The man puts up stats. I mean, whether you like Austin Reaves or not, you're getting 20 points a game from him. You're getting basically 25-5, maybe 25-6, something like that. He's getting you some dimes. He's getting you some rebounds. He came up through the Lakers organization. There are a lot of people that certainly enjoy watching Austin Reaves play, can go get you a bucket any moment. He's got stats. Here's another reason why I think there's a case for Austin Reaves. He wants to be a Laker. You know, I think he's not shying away from the pressure. He's not shying away from put as much as you want on my back. He's a competitor. He wants to win. I guarantee you that he wants to win as a Laker than he does with any other team out there, and I believe that. Now, of course, he's going to try to get paid in the process, and we'll see what happens this upcoming summer. And he's still obviously on a relatively really good deal. And then last thing I'm going to say, just a case to keep him, and then we'll look at the two different trade ideas for Austin Reaves. I still think he's got a lot of upside. You know, I don't think we necessarily have seen the best of Austin Reaves. I think this team has a lot of flaws. Last year's playoff team has a lot of flaws. I think you're going to obviously trying to work with somebody who's 40, 41 years old in LeBron James. I think once they got Luka, all of a sudden you lost Anthony Davis, you lost Max Christie, you lost two just outstanding defenders that, you know, you obviously can't replace, or Lakers are trying to replace. Or they ain't going to replace Anthony Davis. We'll see if they got some help here on the Max Christie piece of it. But, I mean, he was obviously young and very talented as well. Reaves has upside. So the trade chatter around Austin Reaves, I think, is justified. But I think there is a case of why people want to see Reaves off the Lakers. And I think there is a case to be made to say, hey, make Austin Reaves. Don't rush into something. Keep the man on this team. Keep the man on this roster. And then once you extend him, you can figure out how things are looking then. Okay, so let me get into the actual articles, because I think the articles will shed a little bit of light of what I'm referring to. A couple different players out there that and a couple outlets out there that are just doing, again, some mock trades out there, and I'd love to get your guys' opinion. What do you guys make of Keegan Murray with the Sacramento Kings? What do you make of Keegan Murray of the Sacramento Kings? So one of the articles out there was from Sports Illustrated. Ethan Hutton put this out there. Again, mock trades. The man is just strictly talking, hey, is there a win-win situation for both of these teams? Let me tell you a little bit about what this mock trade out there was. The Lakers received Keegan Murray and a 2027 first-round pick, probably a pick that the Lakers would eventually use to shop somewhere else, because that's what the Lakers do. And the Sacramento Kings would receive Austin Reaves. So you get a first-rounder and you get Keegan Murray. You know, I was, by the way, this is not all these trades will work, but I did put this in the NBA trade machine. It does work. There's some, it sounds like a little bit of hesitation. I don't think everybody knows what the Sacramento Kings are doing, what they're going to do with Keegan Murray. Do they want to pay him when he's an unrestricted free agent? This is the final year of, or it's not the final year. He's got this year, and then he's a restricted free agent the following year. I think this is because he's still on his rookie contract, so something to keep in mind in regards to that. But for Keegan Murray, who was a top 5 pick that I want to say, has had a really good start. I mean, I don't think he had as good of a season this year as he's done in the past. Let me actually share with you guys some of his stats here so you guys can look at that while I'm walking through some of this. But here's some of Keegan Murray's stats, and here's something to just kind of keep in mind as we go through the conversation. Let me find Keegan Murray. That's his contract right there. Uh, I had this all organized, and now it's not organized. Okay, there it is. So here's Keegan Murray's stats. So we'll take a look at this. Last year, he played 76 games for the Sacramento Kings, 12 points, six and a half rebounds. Not somebody that's going to go and get an assist for you. But here's where I think Keegan Murray does have some strengths. And just, again, something to keep in mind. I'm not making a case here either way, but I think once we have some of these conversations of what type of player can you get for Austin Reaves, me personally, I think they get more than Keegan Murray. That's my personal belief on that. I think there's a bigger market for Keegan, or there's a bigger market for Austin Reaves than there is for Keegan Murray. But let me give you a little bit of an idea of what he did. So he's only 24. He's 25 years old. So it gives you an idea as far as age goes. Here's why Keegan Murray is interesting. He's 6'8". He is a 3-and-D guy. Got a tremendous upside. And if you actually look at some of his qualities, which is obviously very important, the man plays defense too. He's a really good defender. He's somebody that can certainly fit on the Lakers. Do the Lakers really have a standout 3-and-D guy? They don't. I mean, maybe they thought that was going to be Dorian Finney-Smith. That's not happening. I don't know what's going to happen with Jake LaRavia, so we'll wait on that. But Keegan Murray is one of the players that was thrown out there as part of this article. I did mention, so this upcoming season, he's going to be on the Sacramento Kings and then a restricted free agent after that. So, probably going to get paid as well in some shape, way, or form. Compare that to Austin Reaves' numbers: 20 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 5.8 assists. The NBA trade machine out there, the way they do this, which the trade was successful, but I'll show you this because I think it's important to show as I do this here real quick. Take a look at this because this will also show in regards to this trade. I think they do something cool here. They do analysis. I think this is a John Hollinger's analysis. If a trade like this happened, it said the trade would be successful. Hollinger's analysis, the Sacramento Kings gained 4 wins off of it. The Lakers -4. So they're not looking at it technically from a positive perspective. The way they're looking at it is, okay, well, what would it mean for the Lakers this actual upcoming year? So that's one way to look at it. The other thing that I would just kind of throw into the mix here, and again, this is us just floating ideas out there. This is an article out on Sports Illustrated, so I'm putting it out there. How much value do you hold to the first rounder that's out there? That obviously is important as well. I think they're certainly from a fit perspective, Keegan Murray makes sense and he fits. But I also think at the same time, you lose a ton of offense without Austin Reaves, a ton of offense. And I think the Lakers are going to be kind of struggling here to figure out where their offense is going to come from this year if they lost a guy like Austin Reaves. So you got Luka Doncic, that's obviously going to take a big load. Okay, awesome LeBron, but he's going to be 41 years old. What really are you depending on from LeBron James' perspective? And then I think you start looking at other question marks. Do we know what DeAndre Ayton's going to bring the Lakers? I got no idea. I don't. I mean, I'm optimistic, but I'm also not shocked if he's not the player that we're hoping for him to be, or what Laker fans are hoping for him to be. Marcus Smart. Do we kind of know what Marcus Smart's going to be? Probably not. I don't think we have a real idea what Marcus Smart is going to be. So I think the bottom line in regards to this, and I'm going to move off to Keegan Murray here for just a second, but the bottom line in regards to this is in this article, that's the conversation. The conversation was, would you trade Austin Reaves for Keegan Murray and a first rounder as well on top of it? And I got no idea what the Sacramento Kings are going to do. I got no idea if the Sacramento Kings look at the Lakers and say, oh, no, we would never make a deal with the Lakers. I mean, frankly, it'd be stupid if you ask me. I think if you can make a deal to improve your roster, then I think you should. But I do think Austin Reaves has more value than Keegan Murray. And for some of the reasons that I mentioned, but something that Keegan Murray does have that Austin Reaves will never have in his career, he's not going to have the size and he's not going to have the defensive ability that he has, obviously playing for the Sacramento Kings. But there's also areas of Keegan Murray's game. I don't think he's going to be the offensive player that the Lakers have certainly with Austin Reaves right now. Okay, your thoughts on Keegan Murray and that one trade rumor, that one trade, mock trade that's out there. Is that equal value, or do you think the Lakers can get more for Austin Reaves if they're going to shop him? If you ask me, I think they can get more. That's what I would, that would be my initial thought there. Okay, let's look at the trade number 2 out there. Again, another mock trade out there. Guys, throwing out some content there and trying to think, would the Lakers be interested in this type of deal? It would work in the NBA, in the trade machine, and then it's now just up for conversation from there. Okay, let's get another one out there. Bleacher Report's Zach Buckley put out a trade. Again, a mock trade. We'll have this conversation, and this one was on Dereck Lively. Okay. With the Dallas Mavericks, let's first get this point out there. And I think, I got to be honest with you. I think I get it. I know that there's probably a lot of Mavs fans that say you should never make a trade with the Lakers again. How can you possibly trade Luka Doncic? I get all that. Nico Harrison, what the hell are you doing? I completely understand that. But if there's a trade to be made and it will help your team and you feel like it's good for the present and the future, then the Dallas Mavericks should still be open for business with the Los Angeles Lakers. It's up to their front office and their GM and their scouts and their ownership to just make sure that the trade makes sense for both sides, and certainly makes sense for not even for both sides, just makes sense for the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, who really cares? I'm sure the Dallas Mavericks aren't going to care whether the Lakers like the move or not. They just care whether the move works for them. Okay, Dereck Lively. Let's kind of get into this and this article out there that was bringing Dereck Lively. We kind of have a good idea of what Dereck Lively is. He's known for his defense, elite shot blocker, top tier player from a lob threat perspective. He's played with Luka Doncic, very young as well. Remember, his rookie season was 2023, 2024. Let me look here real quick just to make sure his age. He walks into this year only 21 years old. So Dereck Lively's super young. February 12th, he'll turn 22. So that gives you an idea just how young he is. Lively, a nice player in the NBA. Don't get me wrong. He's got incredible upside as well. There's a club option next year and then a restricted free agent. He's going to be around for a little bit. That doesn't mean Dereck Lively probably won't figure out a way. He's not an unrestricted free agent, or he's a restricted free agent in the 2027, 2028 season. So he could be with his team for a while. The trade, the mock draft the mock trade that was out there, I'm going to give you guys the details. This was Bleacher Report. Zach Buckley put this out here. Here's what he proposed. The Mavericks receiving Austin Reaves and a 2031 first-round pick, with the Lakers getting Dereck Lively II and Caleb Martin. Okay, let me first say this. You go put this up in the NBA trade machine, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. There's reasons. Lakers use their non-taxpayer mid-level exception. Mavs did the same thing. So it gets confusing. It gets complicated. But I think the structure of the deal is, can you put a deal together for Dereck Lively for Austin Reaves? Again, I'll give my opinions on this one, and you guys can feel free to do the same thing as well. What are Lakers right now in terrible need of? They're in terrible need of a big. They're in terrible need of a shot blocker, a defender, somebody that can man the fort down low. What does Dallas have? Just a ton of depth in. It's their front court. I mean, if you look at some of the players they have, Anthony Davis, of course they got Dereck Lively, Daniel Gafford is there, PJ Washington is there. They just, obviously make end up with the number one pick and get Cooper Flagg. So they got size. Size ain't an issue for the Dallas Mavericks. This one I think is interesting, and I'll tell you why I think it's interesting. I think I've said this before. If they're going to shop Austin Reaves, I need it to be for a player that kind of fills the void that the Lakers have with a big. The problem is, if Dereck Lively is your big, now remember, this is just a rim protector. This is not somebody you could just throw the ball to like you used to with Anthony Davis and say, go get me 25. The problem with a guy like Dereck Lively is, obviously offensively, okay, what is Lively going to give you on a night in, night out basis? That portion is the part that I guess you can call, be most concerned about. He can get stats, he can get numbers, but it's all produced by a guy like Luka Doncic. And the question is going to be can DeAndre Ayton be that type of player, which he has been in the past in his career and has more polished offensive game. I'm not telling you he's the defensive player that Lively is, and I'm also not telling you he's a lob threat like he is. but certainly you didn't have to pay anything to go get a guy like Ayton. You literally paid $5-6 million, whatever it is, and all the pressure's on him. It's not on the Lakers for going out there and getting him in the buyout market. So this one's interesting. I think this one's interesting, but I still think that Austin Reaves holds value. I think he holds value in the league. I think he's going to sell tickets for you. I think he's if he ends up on another team, he'll become a fan favorite there. Can you get more for him? Can you wait and see what DeAndre Ayton's going to be first? Can we get closer to the trade deadline before we really, really start kind of going full throttle into the Austin Reaves conversation and the trade conversation? To be honest with you, I don't think we can. I think this conversation is not going anywhere. I think it's going to be here for a while. I mentioned this in some of the notes that I have. That, by the way, your thoughts, your opinion on Dereck Lively, that kind of thought process of a trade, and your thoughts on the Keegan Murray one. Would love to get people's thoughts on this. I think what's interesting to me is I don't think the trade chatter is going to go anywhere once we get to training camp. I think it's going to be loud. I think it's going to depend on how the team is doing. I think it's going to depend on how he's doing specifically. I think it's going to depend on how the backcourt is doing. I think it can get louder, the pressure to win. Hey, LeBron wants to win right now. This might be your last chance to win with him. Go all in right now. I think there's going to be a lot of things that kind of dictate this conversation. I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon, but I think it's an interesting one. I think it's an interesting conversation. Saw both of those articles, so I thought to myself, all right, why don't I throw a video out that at least talks about this a little bit? Dereck Lively, Keegan Murray, Austin Reaves. What do you guys think? Just your initial thoughts, and if it's not these two guys, is a player out there that you think would make sense that, here's the one thing that I don't want to do. I don't want to do with Austin Reaves conversations. It's like, yeah, do Austin Reaves for Bam Adebayo. Yeah, the Miami Heat are not doing that. So I want them to be realistic conversations and trying to find what the right comp is for Austin Reaves. So look forward to reading your guys' opinions. I appreciate you guys hanging out here on a recorded video. Thank you very much for being here. As always, please subscribe to the channel. A lot of love for everybody here. It's been a while since I got one of these up. Excited to do it and looking forward to the month of September. We start putting up more content, and before you know it, we're going to be at Media Day and training camp, and preseason will start. So keep an eye out for the next video that's coming out, and please subscribe to the channel. Thank you, everybody. Hope you guys have a great rest of your evening and your day.